guys, happy Monday. It is November 27th. It is the week after Thanksgiving. So I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving break. If you took the week off or just a couple days. I know a lot of us, myself included, are just getting back into the swing of things. I had a 3-day road trip home from Arizona to Florida. So just getting back into my office today. Super excited to be here. That's why I've got my whiteboard in the back, and I decided to use it today because I have so much to share with you regarding this topic, and I want to make sure I took some clear notes for you. So make sure that you're taking notes for today's Mindset Monday. You might even want to re-listen to today's talk a couple of times because what I'm going to share with you this week is pretty mind-blowing. It's pretty much the opposite of what you've heard or might have been told or what you've been thinking for years and years on your health and weight loss journey. And it's all about the 80-20 rule. And I'm going to talk about why, the 80-20 rule is not what you think it is, the truth behind the 80-20 rule, but more importantly, why the 20% matters the most. Okay. And so this is kind of coming off of the last couple of Mindset Mondays that I've done regarding like reframing and psychological flexibility, right? Because if we are psychologically inflexible, we are hell bent on that thought that 80-20 is a way of life. That's the best way to live a healthy lifestyle, right? So we're good 80% of the time, and then that 20% of the time we can do whatever, right? And for the average person, that might be the case, okay? But this is why the average person is not successful on this health and weight loss journey, okay? Let's just say that 80% of the population that tries to lose weight is unsuccessful, right? It's that 20% that are successful, right? And that's what I'm gonna talk about today, and why I actually rather us in CMW focus on that 20%. Because if someone were to ask me, what makes CMW different? What is uniquely CMW? How do we set ourselves apart from other health and weight loss programs out there? And what I'm going to say in response to that is we mastered that 20%. Okay? Because I want to go deeper now into the 80-20 rule. So again, those of you who maybe this is your first time hearing it, the 80-20 rule is 80% of the time we're good with nutrition, fitness, sleep, whatever, and then the 20% of the time is like you can do whatever, right? Maybe it's you have your cocktails or have your desserts or you have a cheat meal or like whatever it is, right? But here's what I'd rather us think and create my weight, okay? The 80% is the easy part. Okay, those are things that you should be doing anyway, right? Let me move my computer up here a little bit, actually. So that's what you should be doing regardless, okay? Like the 80% are your habits. And a lot of you, especially those of you who have been in the program for a long time now, or maybe you're alumni at this point, you're getting your NEAT in for the most part. You might have a week or you might have a little bit of time, but that NEAT's important, right? So we're making that a habit. You prioritize your sleep, protein and produce, your fitness, maybe you schedule your workouts, right? So technically, guys, that's what I'm going to consider the easy part. It's what we call like common sense. It's like we know we need to be doing these things. So the average person knows what they should be doing, right? Like they know they should be eating more vegetables. They know they should be walking. They know they should be getting more sleep. They know they should be drinking their water. Right? And so the problem is that people sometimes get obsessive with those things, right? And they stress about this 80%. But what I want us to reconsider here, and what I actually rather you do, and you can even do this is a great goal to have for the remainder of this year going into 2024, is to really focus on that 20%. And I want you to focus, make this your mission to master the 20%. Because those of us who have been successful in CMW years later, we have mastered that. And even if you think, I haven't mastered anything, that's false, right? You have mastered something. But what I want to talk about is what is that 20%, right? Because I just talked about the 80%, right? The 20%, ooh, I didn't even write this down. What I mean by the 20% are holidays, travel. Let me get my marker, hold on. The 20%, we've got travel, holidays, I don't know, date night, social events. Let's just throw that all together. Okay, that could include like weddings, birthday parties. Can you guys see that? Let me zoom in real quick. Look. There we go. Hey, I'm up close and personal. Travel, holidays, date night, social events. Okay, cool. Guys, I'll take a picture of my screen too, or of my whiteboard, and I'll put it here in the comments for you. Okay, so that is what I mean by the 20%. All right? And so, again, I want to go back to the problem with most people in the world, right, on the weight loss journey especially, is they're like, oh, well, as long as I'm good with the 80%, like, this doesn't matter so much, all right? That might be true if it's only 20%, right? But the problem with most people, and I used to fall in this category, guys, is that it's not usually only 20%. If we're really honest with ourselves, it's more like 30, 40, or 50%. So let's take a typical week, right? Like Monday through Sunday. So you might tell me, and I hear this all the time in CMW, like I'm really good Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday, right? Like I'm working out, eating right, sleeping, walking, whatever, drinking water. And then it's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or just, maybe it's just Saturday, I don't know. And then those days we're going like balls to the wall, or we're just like not moving much. We're having like multiple cheat meals, or like you're snacking on little bites. We call it lick bites and taste. That's like a Weight Watchers term. And we're not really as mindful, right? Or maybe you plan to have no more than 3 drinks that one day, but it ends up being like 5. And then it affects your food after that, right? And then the next day you're not feeling great, and it all happens again. And then it snowballs. So then it's not really 20% of your week. It's more like 30, 40%. Yeah, so that's the problem. So this is why, again, I want us to really master this 20%. And this is what we do in CMW, if you think about it, guys. It's like the first 4 to 6 weeks of CMW, we're focusing on the 80%, right? Like this is weeks, like I said, 1 through 6, or 1 through 5 even. I don't know, we can call it that, right? We're getting into the, weeks 1 to 6. We're getting through nutrition, we're getting to the fitness groove, we're learning some mindset. Week 6 is all about emotional eating, and then everything thereafter is really working on this and on this, right? Getting our head and heart into this process. And that is the 20% that I'm talking about, okay? So even though over here I'm defining the 20% are these circumstances, right? Traveling, holidays. I mean, we've all just been through this, right? Last week was probably that 20%, right? These are the circumstances of the 20%. But if we're going through the CTFAR model right now, the thoughts, the feelings, the actions, and the results from that 20% is mindset. It's your thoughts, right? How are we thinking about traveling, right? I'm on a 3-day road trip. That means I'm just gonna eat whatever I want, and I can't, get up. Like, I'm just gonna get back on track on Monday or whatever. Like, granted, guys, I stopped at a Buc-ee's. Those of you who know what Buc-ee's is, it's like this like crazy travel stop. I think I got like a cookie there or something. But like, I packed a salad, I packed some vegetables, I packed some fruit, packed some snacks. But was it me and Olivia were joking about it the other day? Yeah, I mean, could I have been better? Yes, of course. But I'm not on the weight loss journey right now. And the truth is, if you are on the weight loss journey, that 20% is where we rise and fall, right? I want to get laser focused on the 20%. All right. So again, this is here and here that we master that 20%. Yes, it's knowledge, but it's also desire. All right. Okay. So again, I want to focus on how to master that 20%, how to follow through with what you know, right? Well, I know to focus on protein and produce. I know I can pack some snacks. I know I can get some steps in, I can take breaks, I can still get a walk in, I can still find time to exercise. Even on my road trip, I found, a couple of the hotels I stayed in had gyms. I got up early, or even when I got back to the hotel at night, I went for a 20-minute walk on the treadmill if there was nowhere to walk around the hotel, just to stretch out my legs. Like, I've been sitting for 12 hours, like my hips, like for me to go from the car to the bed, like that's not serving my body, let alone like my weight loss goals and how I'm feeling. But like, I want to like not wake up cramping, right? So I want to like move a little bit. So let's talk about that 20% and how to master it. Okay, so here's what I want you to take some notes. So number one, let me go over here actually. Sorry for the light, that's my computer. Number one is start by being honest with yourself. Okay, because the first step to transformation is honesty. It's taking a really deep look at who you are and what you're doing well and what needs to improve. And this is not just for your weight loss and health journey. This is your business. If you own a business, or in your job, if you're looking to rise to the next level, like, what am I doing right now and what can I optimize, right? Or in my relationships, like, am I being the best wife or girlfriend or partner that I can be, or where can I improve? As a parent, as a coach, as a sibling or a citizen, right? Like, the true part of transformation is honesty. And the problem is, those of us who struggle with the 20%, we don't take step one. We like avoid step one. We avoid step one and we just do this because this is easy. Oh, well, I'll just get my walking in, and I'll just get my water and, eat some vegetables. That's going to work for a couple of days, but then guess what? Like, that 20% is going to creep up, and it's going to kick up higher and higher, right? So we start by being honest with ourselves. And guys, I've had to do this many times in my life, especially when I was really a stress eater, emotional eating, turning to sweets. And that's what I was suffering with in my 20s, actually. And that's what, made me get into this work of emotional eating psychology and change my relationship with food, because I knew that I was always going to have this negative body image and mindset and this obsessive relationship with exercise if I didn't fix that, right? So I had to really get honest. So how to get honest with who you are, but also, is your 20% really 20% or is it bigger, right? So here's a few ways to do it. Number one, reflect on your last 30 days. So for example, I know last week was a holiday week and you took off some time from work. Maybe you went to your family's house, or you hosted Thanksgiving, or whatever you did. Maybe you traveled somewhere. So you might pick a couple of days that week where you weren't optimal, right, in your nutrition, your fitness. But I want you to think 21 days prior to that. Because I bet that there were other moments, where we weren't as great. And if you really want to get technical, right, if you really want to optimize that 20%, food journaling is the way to do it, right? Data. Just like your job, just like anything else, data drives all of our decisions, right? And if we're going to be results driven and create my weight, we need some data. So if you come to me and say, Kristen, I hit a plateau, I'm not losing weight, I'm doing all the things, I swear 80% of my life is this and 20% is these things here, I'm not perfect, I'm going to say, well, show me your log. Let me see. I'll tell you if it's 20%. I'll tell you what I think. And then people are like, oh, well, I don't have that. And that's okay if you don't have it right now. But what I want to share with you is, if you really want to master this 20%, start tracking. And I'm not saying you have to track every day for the rest of your life, but let's say it is a time of year where you're going to holiday parties, you're traveling, you've got a lot on your plate, you've got work meetings and dinners and all kinds of stuff, you've got 4 weddings this month or whatever it is. On those days, track what you're eating, right? Don't track the days where you're good and then ignore the days you're not good. Flip it, reverse it. because you have to do the opposite of what everyone else is doing to be successful in this world. Look at the movers and the shakers in our society, guys. Right? The people, the Jeff Bezos, the Elon Musk, and it doesn't matter what you think of them. But like, look what they're doing to our world. Okay? And think about people in history that have made such a legacy. They've gone against the status quo. Right? So when someone says to me, well, I've been really good at logging my food, but I didn't do the weekend. You're just being average. You're doing what's easy. I never told you that this journey would be easy. Never. I said it will be much easier than what you've done in the past, right? Because we're going to get laser focused. We're going to get hyper focused on that 20%. So you're actually going to focus on less, right? And get really good at that than obsessing over all these other things over here. Because for most of you here, you know those things. It's like common sense. Most of you are not new to dieting. Most people that come to CMW, they've done everything. All right, you guys are my favorite people to work with because you've done it all, and you just like want this done once and for all. Okay. And also, what I love about CMW, when people ask me what sets CMW apart from other health and weight loss programs out there, is that I love working with the 20%, the top 20%, the people that are driven, they're ambitious. They want to do big things in their life, or they're already doing big things in their life, in their careers, in their families, in their travels, right? They want to do all these amazing things, but they have this one obstacle in their way for them feeling fully free to focus on doing what they love, right? And so I want to help them take this passion, this drive, this ambition in those other elements of their life and apply some of that here to the weight loss journey, right? Let's get hyper focused. Let's get awesome at like what matters. And what matters the most is that 20%. Here. All right, so let's go back to some action steps, right? And we're going to start this like this week, right? Some of you are doing the challenge with us. That's a great opportunity to do it. Okay, if you're not in the challenge, it's totally fine. That's not for everybody. I totally get it. But reflect on your last 30 days, right? So sit down and like grab your journal. Grab some blank pages. And in your CMW journal, guys, there's empty pages in the back. Start writing down. What have my last 30 days looked like? Well, let's look at week 1, week 2, week 3. What was going on in my life? How did I do? Ooh, like, just start being honest. Well, that was my friend's birthday. Oh, we had this brunch. Oh God, I had book club. I had a work meeting. I traveled, which is fine, guys. There's nothing wrong with the truth. The truth, what's that saying? The truth will set you free. Totally true. Okay? Because it will give you clarity. And that's what we're here for. All right. So reflect on your last 30 days. Then I want you to start tracking your food. Okay? And if you haven't done it, that's fine. But start now. Like everything. And don't go into MyFitnessPal, please. Do it in your journal. MyFitnessPal is not set up for success, right? I want you to physically, on the NP, I want you to see what your vegetables look like, what your proteins look like. Are you really doing PMP, right? Like I would put PMPs right here, protein and produce. Are you really doing that? Are you getting your vegetables in? I want you to have a hard look at the data, okay? Okay, this one's important. Number 3, reframe your thoughts around food, beverage, and the holidays. I was going to circle it, but I'll just do a star. Okay, so here's an example. I'm road tripping, and I'm going to, stop at all the Chick-fil-A's and all these places because it's a road trip, right? That's what you do. It's like, but really? Like, how will Chick-fil-A serve me right now? How will these french fries serve me? How will this milkshake serve me? All I know is if I eat those french fries and drink that milkshake, I'm going to be hungry again in like 2 hours. Now, granted, I'm not saying you can't have a milkshake and have the french fries. Right? I would do one or the other, not both, FYI. But like, it's not a necessity for a road trip. What's necessary for a road trip is what? Gas, probably a safe car, water, and I mean, technically, it depends on the road trip. You don't even need, no, you need to eat, but technically, like, you can eat whatever. All right, and some good music or an audiobook. I listened to a couple audiobooks actually on my trip. Okay, holiday parties. Let's talk about that. So, do I have to drink at every single holiday party that I go to? I posted this here in the Facebook group yesterday. My birthday's tomorrow, so I've got several plans for that. I have book club on Thursday. I've not been to a book club in 6 months because I've been gone. My neighbors have a holiday party on Friday night. And then Saturday's one of my best friend's birthdays. Right, I'm helping plan the event. I got 4 like big events. I've not been home in 6 months, like in my house. So like got a lot going on this week. Do I have to drink or eat whatever at every event? And those of you who don't consume alcohol, like I don't want you to think that this doesn't pertain to you or that you can't connect with this example, because although like wine or cocktails might be like my treat, you might have other things. Like it might be dessert for you, or it might be pizza or burgers, or you guys do burger Fridays or pizza night Fridays or something else. You might have another I don't call it advice, that's a wrong word. Another exciting thing, right? A treat. Okay, so I wrote this in the group yesterday. What I planned for this week, and this leads to step 2, actually plan ahead. I'm having some cocktails with my friends tomorrow night. I'm going to do my absolute best to do rule of 3, up to 3 drinks tomorrow, a drink of water between every cocktail. I'm going to stick to my Prosecco. Actually, I specifically picked this place in Delray called the Wine Room because they have Silt Bar, and Silt Bar is my favorite Prosecco. It's super low calorie. It's delicious. Love it. So we'll be there. I'm going to stay away from the sweet drinks. I might get 1 margarita at my favorite place, El Camino, but I'm going to do it skinny, as I always do anyway. So again, and I'll be walking around. Like there's a Christmas tree lighting here in Delray, so I'll be walking around with my friends, getting some steps, having a couple cocktails. I'll have protein and produce, breakfast, lunch, dinner. So yeah, I already planned it out. Thursday's my book club, so I'll probably just have like 1 or 2 glasses of wine maximum at book club. I gotta work later on Thursday and get up early Friday. I'm not gonna drink Friday night. You know what? Like I'd rather enjoy Tuesday, Thursday than Saturday's my friend's birthday. I don't need to drink at my neighbor's house. I'll have club soda. I'm totally fine with that. I can go there and enjoy the conversation. They decorate their whole house. Like we have a whole Christmas lighting competition here in our neighborhood. I haven't seen them in a while. I'm going to get to catch up with them. I'm going to focus on the conversation, focus on the holiday spirits, rather than what I'm not drinking or eating. I know they're going to have lots of healthy food options. They're actually vegetarians, my neighbors, so they always have tons of vegetables. If I didn't think that, I would offer to bring something. So I know I can do really well over there, right? So planning ahead. Right? Step number 3 to master the 20%. Right, so again, referring to handling these events, is staying excited about your process. All right, so this is where and this takes time, guys. You're not going to master this overnight. This is going to take lots and lots of practice. But for you to really get amped for your plan, right? I've talked about my 2 favorite words in the English language. Well, I got a few, but these top 2. The 2 N's, mission and momentum, right? So when you have a plan, I don't even want you just to call it a plan. I want you to call it your mission, because there is something to be said. There's something more exciting and a little bit more meaningful about having a mission and a purpose versus just having a plan. So, for example, me, keeping my alcohol content limited tomorrow for my birthday, or even, not drinking at the holiday party next door, is that there's a mission behind it, right? Like, I want to honor my word. I want to prove to myself that I am capable of honoring my word and sticking to my plan. right? That's my mission. I want to show not just myself, but I want to walk the talk and show others that I can stick to my plan, right? And also too, like, my mission is to get to bed early so I can get up and feel good tomorrow, get my workouts in, and have a full day, right? Even this weekend I've got a lot to do. I'm gonna like unpack my house. I'm gonna decorate for Christmas. I've got so much going on already. Gotta do some planting in my yard. Oh my gosh. So like I've got a mission. It's not even just the plan itself and sticking. It's like what my future self is already thinking about. What does my future self have to do? Right? So if you have a game plan, right? Like I'm going to stick to this because of this. And sometimes guys, like your mission or your plan, the way to stay excited about it is like, you know what? I'm not going to drink so much tonight, or I'm not going to eat so much tonight because I also have this event coming up in 2 days. And like, I want to feel really good for that. Or I'd rather eat and drink a little bit more there and not here. That could be your motivation too. And that's fine. It's totally fine. Or, you know what, you're like, you know what, I want to be really good for the next few weeks because the week of Christmas, like, I'm traveling or I'm going to this place and I want to enjoy myself. That can be your mission. That's fine. And then once you have your mission, what we do to keep our momentum, and our momentum is how we stay excited about our process. So again, it's about connecting to that future self. So it's like, when I follow through with this plan, I will feel blank, right? By honoring my word, I will blank, right? What can you be excited about achieving even that next day? Because for some people, you know what? You know that if you go off track, the next day you feel defeated. You feel frustrated. You feel hopeless, right? You feel fear of failure. All those things will show up for you. So what you can be excited about is feeling empowered and feeling like confident in yourself and feeling proud of yourself versus feeling like a failure again. Like I'm really excited to be proud of myself tomorrow morning. Like I'm really excited for like my partner who always hears me complaining about not doing X, Y, and Z. I'm really excited for them to also be proud of me. And you know what you can do, guys? Don't be afraid to ask for help. Like, don't be afraid to tell one of your coaches or tell your partner or somebody in your life that maybe looks out for you. Like, hey, you know what? Like, my plan is to do this tonight. Like, I would really love your support. And maybe just like, if I follow through, like, just tell me good job tomorrow or something. Or when we get home, tell me good job. That makes for a great partnership. Because sometimes people say to me, well, I don't have any support. I don't have any support at home. And I said, well, do you ask for it? Or how do you ask for it? What kind of support are you looking for? Right? If you can like really nail that, it could just be words of affirmation. You know, what is your love language? So that's a whole other conversation, you know? Or if it's acts of service, like, hey, you know, hey, sweetheart, like, can you like, you know, I'm working really late tonight. Like, do you mind just making this quick recipe? It'll take you 10 minutes. It's one of the quick 3 recipes. Here it is, page 36 in the cookbook. No, I really appreciate that. And then I'll do dinner tomorrow. Ask for support and get excited about it. I would get super excited if my boyfriend Scott, he would do it in a second. You know, if I said, hey, I'm really busy, but can you just make this, follow the recipe? He'd do it in a second. And I would be so excited to see how he does. Right? And I know he would be really excited to help me. Because he's always asking, how can I help you? What can I do for you? I'm like, I'll let you know when I need something. I don't need it right now, I'm good. But when I do, I'll let you know. And I do. I tell him. Okay? All right. And number 4, celebrate your commitment. Right? So you can ask your partner to celebrate with you. You know, the next morning or when you get home from your event, you can sit down and journal. Oh my gosh, like, I'm so proud that I did blah, blah, blah. Or even, you don't even have to write anything down. Look in the mirror and just say, I did it. I am capable of sticking to my plan. I proved myself right. I am worthy of honoring my word. I am fully capable. I'm proud. right? Look yourself in the mirror. Say it in your phone, right? You don't have to write it down. But like, take a few seconds, guys, to celebrate that. And then do it again the next day. What gets repeated gets replicated. What gets repeated gets replicated. All right, so I want to recap, right? I'll take a picture, guys. How to master that 20%. And I know that word master, that verb master, seems like a lot, okay? And I'm not saying you're going to master this in one try, but it's possible. And again, instead of you focusing on this 80%, I want to challenge you to focus on the 20%. Where focus goes, energy flows, right? And what I don't mean by focus and mastery, I don't mean being obsessive. I don't mean like, oh my God, well, if I'm really focusing on this 20%, I can't travel, I can't enjoy the holidays, I can't have date night, I can't go to social events, I'm just have to cancel everything. That is not what I mean. Because guess who does that? The 80%. Guys, I've had friends, I've had clients, I've even have been there in my life at some point where I just said no to going to things because I was just like, oh, I don't want to be around it. And if you truly have food freedom and you choose you and your goals, there will be times where you don't go to everything. I'm not here to tell you you have to go to everything you're ever invited to, right? Or you need to, go to all these things and eat everything. But if you truly have food freedom, I want you to say yes to when things serve you and you really want to go, or no when something doesn't serve you, you don't feel like going. I have a lot of events this week because I want to go to every of them. I haven't been home in a long time, but guess what? A month from now, when I've been home and there's tons of events, I'm not going to go to everything. Absolutely not. I'm not like twice a week, probably maximum. Okay, and this week's different. So you choose you, right? But again, focusing on the 20% means getting really good at these things. Really good. Because those things are what make life worth living. Those are the things that really, in one way, hold us back from reaching our goals. But the truth is that they're not going anywhere unless you lock yourself in your house. And I know, and that's what I love about CNW and our community, is that we don't want to lock ourselves in our house. We don't want to say no to events because we're on a diet. We don't want to sacrifice our relationships, where food is bonding. Food is fuel, joy, and culture. I say this all the time. Food brings you joy. It's part of your culture. You want to go have those celebrations and not feel guilt or fear from eating certain foods. Or like, you overate and you messed up and you're doomed, right? So, make sure you write these down. I'll take a picture so you can see it. And I want you to start practicing that. Okay, start implementing. Again, this is a process. It's not a one-stop shop. But start now, and I guarantee you, if you do this over the next 5 weeks, what are we in now? 5 weeks until Christmas, or until 2024? You do this for the next 5 weeks, you will be so ready for 2024, number one. And number two, you're going to go into 24 being lighter. You're going to be on track for your goals. And this is where this is why you're going to be successful. This is part of it, but this is the most important part. Okay? Because let me tell you guys something. If you can do this, right? This is the easy stuff. Right? All right. Comment with questions. Those of you who are participating in our challenge tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on my Zoom link, we've got the kickoff call, so make sure you join us. I'll be going over lots of fun things, getting you excited, building your momentum. We'll be going over the 2 M's. Mission, what is your mission for this challenge for the new year also, and then how to keep your momentum, how to build your momentum, create the momentum, and keep it through the next 2 weeks. All right? Have a good day, guys. Bye.